It's all about the numbers. 42, that's how many straight games UConn has won. 12, that's how many years it's been since Hofstra's last 3-0 start. And 700, that's how many wins this man will have if his team can prevail tonight. A milestone moment could be next on CPTV. UConn fans certainly have plenty to be thankful for, like 6 national championships. Tonight we are at Gamble Pavilion in Stores. It's the opening night of the WBCA Classic, and the Hofstra Pride takes on #1 ranked Connecticut. And a very pleasant good evening, everyone. I'm Bob Picozzi, along with Megan Kumo. We hope you had a wonderful Thanksgiving holiday. His first win came against Iona on November 23rd, 1985. There have been 698 more wins since, and tonight, Megan, should be another milestone moment for Gino Auriemma.
Yeah, I mean, my goodness, 700 wins is certainly something to speak about. But, you know, when I think about Gino Auriemma, I think about how his philosophy has not changed in all of those wins in all of these years. It's play hard, play smart, and have fun. He recruits great people. But the thing that he's most proud of, I would guarantee, is the fact that of all the players that have come through here, they all stay in touch and they come back and visit.
Another trademark is a suffocating defense, as Holy Cross discovered a week ago tonight.
Oh, my gosh. It was so difficult for Holy Cross to do anything in that first half. And UConn jumps out so quickly, and they make it impossible to get into your offense. So they forced 17 first-half turnovers that they converted into 21 points. And then in that second half, they held Holy Cross to only 12 points. It is suffocating, to say the least. You look at those numbers, and it's just the beginning of the season. Think of how much better they're going to get by the end of the year.
Now, Hofstra won 11 more games last season than it did the year before, and is already off to a 3-0 start this year. They have one of the best freshmen in the Colonial Athletic Association.
They certainly do. Shantae Evans has come in, and I am impressed with the way she has made the transition into college ball. An undersized post player, usually very difficult to make that transition to the inside game, but this young lady has done a great job. Nice body control, the up and under, and I like how she does that ball fake, gets the big guys moving, and she can drive right by them to the hoop. Scored all those points in high school, the first one, male or female, to do so. Already doing double points, double-figure points already in her early career. She's going to need a big one here tonight.
It will be a very busy weekend at Gamble Pavilion. This will only be the second of 6 games, and it's a weekend where fans may witness history. Gamble Pavilion. Let us quickly take a look at the starting lineups. First, for the visitors from Hempstead, New York, Candace Bellacchio leads the CAA in assists. She had a school record 14 of them against St. Francis. And for UConn, Caroline Doty second in the Big East in assists, and she has committed only 3 turnovers in 83 minutes this season. And Megan, say hello to the season's first Big East Player of the Week.
And I believe that is the first Big East Player of the Week honor that she has had in her career. Pretty amazing, but nice for Tina Charles to get recognized early. A lot of recognition going around for her these days. That's right. Before the game, she was honored for getting her 1,000th rebound on opening day against Northeastern. She will jump it up with number 43, Jess Fuller. John Palermo will toss it between them. He's working tonight with Patty Fernandez and Fatou Kasoko, and only the second meeting between UConn and Hofstra is underway. This is number 10, Bellacchio. She very much runs the attack from the point. Diminutive at 5'6". Number 13, Sam Brigham. Back to Bellacchio. Jess Fuller. Whoa. Inside to Marie Malone, and she's called for traveling. Oh, that's too bad for Hofstra. She was wide open. Hofstra coached by Krista Kilburn-Staveski. 3 years ago, she won the inaugural WBCA Maggie Dixon Coaching Award.
This is her first head coaching job. She's done a terrific job. 11 more wins last year than the year before. Maya Moore for 3.
Yeah, the last thing that Gilbert and Stavesky wanted was to have Maya Moore come out and drain her first 3. At least it got the crowd seated. That's good for the opposing team. Moore
obviously bothered by that 6-day layoff for Thanksgiving, huh? Coming out of the gates flying. This is Fuller, transfer from Monroe Community College in Rochester. Had a terrific junior college career. Bellacchio picks up the bounce. Malone wasn't ready for it, and here's Moore. 2 possessions, 2 turnovers. Doty on the break. And the foul will be called on number 13, Sam Brigham. The first foul of the evening. A win tonight, and Gino Auriemma will become the 11th coach in women's basketball history to reach 700 and the 8th active coach to do so.
Think about how many people coach. And when you're in the top 10 in those types of numbers, it's pretty remarkable.
And he will do it in fewer games than anyone did previously.
Well, when you think back over the years, I mean, he got to 500 wins before he even got to 100 losses. I mean, that's outrageous.
I think he got to 500 wins before his confirmation. Doty makes the free throw. UConn with the token full court pressure. Bellacchio to Fuller. Hofstra's turned the ball over on each of its first 2 trips up the floor. Here's Bellacchio guarded by Hayes.
Composure is the key here for Hofstra. They've done some good things offensively, albeit they've had turnovers. They've been good ones.
The kick by Hayes, so the shot clock will go back up to 15. It had been at 13. Huskies have not played since drubbing Holy Cross 87-34 a week ago tonight in Worcester. This is the first of 7 straight home games for the Huskies. And the traveling call on Evans. So that's the hat trick. 3 possessions, 3 turnovers.
But again, at least they haven't given up transition buckets the other way. And that's the key. And then Gilbert Stavesky was saying to me before the game, we're just going to play this game in 4-minute increments, especially to start the game. They don't want to get overwhelmed by the pressure.
Hofstra likes to play man, but they're playing zone tonight against a much more talented UConn club. That's the first turnover for the Huskies. Up top, Malone. On the weave to Bellacchio, picked up by Green, gets by her, and the up and under move.
What a tough play there by Bellacchio.
Bellacchio missed 23 games last year with a hand injury. Hofstra just wasn't the same without it. Charles on the floor, can't get it to fall. Rebound Malone.
Nice box out by Malone. And they're looking to push the ball on the rebound.
UConn remembers Malone from her freshman year at West Virginia in the Big East. Evans spun and is called for traveling. 4 turnovers for the Pride.
I like the aggressiveness there of Gilbert Stavesky's club, trying to get the ball at the floor, penetrate.
Hofstra's second in turnover margin in the 12-team CAA, but they haven't played UConn in the first 3 games. Great feed, Charles to Moore, who will draw the foul and earn her first trip to the line. First foul on Marie Malone, and the second team foul on Hofstra.
Look at that pass. Again, Maya Moore does so many things well. They're moving without the basketball. The nice pass from the high post. Tina Charles and just getting hammered there was Maya Moore.
Moore 85.7% from the line, 7th best in the Big East. First substitution, Evans, perhaps showing a little jitter. She's turned the ball over twice and is replaced by the much smaller Candace Bond.
Well, the funny thing is Evans typically doesn't start, but they figured, you know, let's put our best foot forward and let's get some offense out there. She's a great 6th man for them.
The reach-in foul off the missed free throw, and rebound will be called on Bellacchio, her first, and 3 on the Pride.
Well, and Bob, you got to remember, Evans is still a freshman.
Yep.
You know, coming in against the best team in the country.
What's that old Al McGuire line? Best thing about freshmen?
I was just thinking that. They become sophomores. Absolutely.
One day they'll become sophomores.
I was just thinking that.
Doty to Charles. Left wing Green. Charles going at it in the post with Fuller. Bond got her hand on the entry pass and then got her hand on it again. Knocked it away from Charles. So Bond very active on her first defensive possession. Left side jumper, Brigham no good. Rebound batted around to Fuller.
I like the aggressiveness of this Hofstra team. They get on the boards. Huskies have got to box.
Hofstra #1 in the CAA in rebounding margin. Loose on the floor. Bellacchio has it. Do we have a foul? Nope. We got a timeout. Hofstra avoided the held ball by calling the timeout.
Heads up timeout there by Kilburn Stavetsky.
So it will be Hofstra ball. Trailing UConn by a couple. Only previous meeting was at the XL Center 4 years ago, and UConn won that one 86-49. Gino Auriemma, when he was asked about winning his 700th, Megan said, it makes you think back to your first few years, your first NCAA tournament, the first time you made the Sweet 16, went to the Final Four and won the national championship. It makes you try to remember what I was thinking the first time all those things happened. I'm very fortunate to have the right people around me.
And that's the key. I mean, he's had Chris Daly every step of the way. And he's had, Shea was a great player here. She's back as an assistant. Jack Eisman, he's known since high school. He's been here for a long time. And the players, he just recruits great people.
UConn was the stability in that coaching staff prior to the last couple of years, losing Tanya Cardozo and Jamel Elliott to their first head coaching jobs in successive years.
Yeah, that was a big shakeup. But you know what? Change doesn't always have to be bad.
Brigham forces it. And what are we going to have here? A held ball. Doty got her hand on it, and the arrow pointing toward UConn. So evidently, just as Brigham left to take the jump shot, Doty got her hand in there. Doty up top to Moore. Green looking down low for Charles. She got inside Malone.
And they tried to help there from Candace Bond from the other side. Just not going to happen. You got to have at least 2 people in there on Charles.
Charles is literally averaging a point a minute through the first 3 games, which is phenomenal. Rebound foul will be called on Hofstra. That will be the 4th team foul on Hofstra. And the second one on Brigham. And there are Charles's numbers. Only 19 minutes per game because in part she was in foul trouble in one of them. Very productive. If anything, that shooting percentage.
Because they won the first game by 70.
Yeah. If anything, her shooting percentage is down from the norm. Her career shooting percentage is a stunning .604, 3rd best in Huskies history. More great ball fake and a better pass down low to Green. Kick out Doty. Rotation to Hayes for the jumper. Offensive rebound Charles and a fresh 30. Charles, right side Doty. She's shooting 40% from 3-point range.
She's trying to say, I got hit.
Rebound Shantae Evans. She's 4th in the CAA in rebound. She gets 9 per game. On the floor, Bond tried to draw the foul on Green. Didn't get it. Didn't get the ball to the rim either. Here comes Hayes. And another turnover for the Huskies. That's their 4th. Knocked out of bounds.
Yeah, I think that was a foul on Kalina
Green.
Green.
Get a foul on Green. That will be the first foul of the night on the Huskies. Tina Charles, a preseason nominee for all of the National Player of the Year awards. She's out to a quick start. UConn by 4 over Hofstra. Second meeting between these two. The first one was 4 years ago in Hartford, and it was not very competitive. Just before Christmas, 3 days before, Mel Thomas scored 25 points, nailed the 3 from the corner. And here's 10 points and 16 rebounds for Barbara Turner, 2 on the putback. And Renee Montgomery with the steal and the dish. 1 of 8 steals for her. UConn wound up winning it 86-49. And in fact, the Huskies are 13-1 over the years against teams from the CAA. The lone loss to Old Dominion on December 13th, 1999. Nicole Capurso off the bench and right away knocks down a 3.
Well, she's pretty much the only 3-point threat, or at least the best. So if you're UConn, you don't want to give her any looks.
She has 5 of her team's 6 threes for the season. Hayes with the miss, Capurso with the rebound. Hofstra had only attempted 23 pointers for the season entering the night. Doty with the foul, and then with the one-hand pickup. She just helped Balaki off the floor. She's got a strong right hand there, huh? First on Doty, 2 on the team.
Yeah, an inadvertent foul. She tried to say, all right, didn't mean to.
That happens in hockey all the time. They help you up. They help you up with one hand, all right? The glove to the face. Inside, Evans with the miss. Rebound batted around. Evans has it. Right back up, and Charles blocked it. And then Charles wrestled it away from Fuller. 217th career block for Charles, and Moore gets a layup at the other end. This is number 2 Bond. Moore got a hand on it. Doty nearly dove and came away with the steal. 34 Kelly Farris in for the Huskies, the freshman from Plainfield, Indiana. Up top, Fuller. On the weave, Bond. Look at Doty fight through that screen, but then she lost her footing. Inside, and Charles got a hand on the entry pass. Doty wisely waits for help. Oh, there's your help.
And it was a perfect pass from Doty to the streaking Moore.
And Krista Kilburn-Staveski is giving John Palermo an earful.
Along with a little pat on the backside. And I just love the presence of mind. It was a perfect lead pass. So all Maya had to do was just catch it and finish. Look at that face.
And Moore finishes as well as anyone who has ever played for Gino Auriemma over the years. 3 games in 3 days for UConn. Will that make your team tired? Well, Gino said, I guarantee if you ask the players, they would rather play games today, tomorrow, and Sunday than put up with one of my 2.5-hour practices.
Absolutely.
He gave them 3 days off after the Holy Cross game, and then they were welcomed back with rigorous 2.5-hour practice on Tuesday and Wednesday.
Yeah, games are easier than practice, no doubt.
Yep.
And, you know, it gets you ready for the Big East tournament and the end of the season.
There are Moore's numbers so far tonight. Just another day at the office for her. Farris to Doty. So Hofstra comes out of the timeout, and that time they turned it over and resulted in a layup. Already 7 turnovers for the Pride. They only have 3 field goals. That was a big part of Holy Cross's problem last Friday. Bellacchio to Capurso. Fuller sets the screen, then rolls, and Moore steps into the passing lane.
It's just the team defense is just what's so smothering. And there, Farris, see the double team, the best way to steal the ball in the double team is to pass out of it. And Farris wisely anticipated that ball going back to the inbounder.
Number 14, Joelle Connolly checking in, replacing Fuller. Connolly normally starts. And in fact, she was the CAA Rookie of the Year last year as a freshman. Evans having trouble inbounding, finds Connolly. Capurso looking for another 3. And it goes up and over the backboard.
Yeah, they changed their lineup just for some better matchups against this taller UConn team.
Hofstra is 3-0 for the first time in 12 years, beating Buffalo, St. Francis of New York, and Albany. Charles in the paint, draws the foul, took it right to the basket, and drew the double team from Connolly and Evans.
And now one thing that can be frustrating for fans is that, you know, all season, you know, the early season here, we're talking about that point of emphasis in the hand checking. If you saw the way she was getting pushed when she got that ball in the lane, you know, that's a foul. But I thought they could have called the foul earlier than they did.
Charles knocks down the first free throw. She was 6 for 6 last week against Holy Cross. Here's the CAA 12-team league. Drexel picked to win it by the coaches. Has dominated the Big East over the years. Cross-court pass. Hayes stole it and then fired it off Capurso's leg and out of bounds.
A great heads-up play.
8 turnovers for Hofstra. Watch the Hayes hustle.
Yeah, Tiffany just a nice hand, and then just the presence of mind to knock that off the feet.
And Charles just has a mindset. When I get the ball, there are 2 points coming to me. She has been so aggressive in the first 3+ games at the offensive end, more so than ever.
Yeah, there's something clicked.
Right.
From the end of last season over the summer, and we've talked about the USA basketball experience and how that has made such a difference.
By the way, before the game, she was honored as the USA Basketball Development Player of the Year.
Quite an honor.
Player of the Year, Shot clock all the way down to 2. Bellacchio gets, and she got hammered by Charles. It will be the first foul on Charles, and number 3 on the team, and to the free throw line will go Bellacchio. Her coach says Bellacchio can be flashy, but sometimes struggles with the simple pass, but she is a great open court player. It's not easy to get 14 assists even in pregame layup drills. She got 14 against St. Francis of New York earlier this season.
I mean, that's an alarming, that's an incredible number. Yep. 14 in a game. I mean, there's a reason it's a single game record, because it's not easy to come by.
Hofstra school record and a season high in the CAA this year. Farris low block Charles, double team, so she gives it to Moore for the wide open jump.
Of course, and that's what's so dangerous about that combination of Moore and Charles. You can't double off of Maya Moore. She'll make you pay.
And Hofstra comes right back and gets a couple.
The Simsbury native Sam Brigham with the layup.
Yep, All-State her senior year, and Connolly made sure Doty did not get an easy layup. Number 2 on Connolly, and that will be 7 team fouls on Hofstra. Doty, one of the best free throw shooters in the Big East, will shoot a couple when we come back. This is what happened after Hofstra's last time out. I don't think that's the play they called. Maya Moore already with 10 points tonight, which means she has scored in double figures for the 78th time in 81 career games. Kylie McLaren had a big game last Friday against Holy Cross.
It's nice to see Kylie continuing to just play more and more, and she's so fun to watch, the way she can pass the ball and distribute.
At the free throw line, Doty, who missed the last 22 games last year when she tore her ACL for the 2nd time. And Gina Auriemma says she's certainly not as quick as she was before she tore her ACL, but I think come January you won't even notice it.
Yeah, you hope so. You never like to see any kid in their prime get injured like that for the 2nd time. It's so unfair.
One thing about her is she doesn't seem to be affected by it mentally at all.
No,
she doesn't seem to be favoring it.
Yeah, no, she's as tough as they come.
Down low, Connolly couldn't hang on, and that's the 9th turnover for Hofstra. This is the first of 3 games this weekend for UConn. There are 4 teams in this event. In the first game tonight, Richmond beat Clemson 86-67. Tomorrow, Clemson will play Hofstra at 5. UConn plays Richmond 7:30. You'll see it here on CPTV as the ball's deflected out of bounds with 19 to shoot. Then on Sunday, it will be Richmond and Hofstra in the first game at 2 o'clock, and UConn will meet Clemson at 4:30, and you'll see that one on CPTV. So it's not your traditional tournament where there's a bracket set up and the winners advance against each other. Each of the 4 teams is scheduled to play the other 3 teams once. So it's a chance to play 3 games in 3 days.
And to think they could be in Cancun or the Bahamas, somewhere like that, Puerto Rico, and they're in stores.
Well, last year, of course, UConn was in Cancun. There's Green with the steal. She's 6th in the Big East in that category. And Brigham, who already has 2 fouls, chose not to contest it. Timeout, Krista Kilburn-Staveski. 10 turnovers for Hofstra. Megan, you just can't simulate in practice what it's like to play against UConn, particularly against the UConn defense.
No, you can't. They're so active. Everyone knows where the ball is. They get their hands in the passing lane like Helena did that time. Finished on the break. And I've been impressed with the way Hofstra has handled themselves. And while, yeah, they have turned the ball over, they got 10. But you know what? Those 10 haven't led to 20 points, as we saw against Holy Cross, Northeastern. They've been pretty good turnovers where it's either a dead ball, where they got to inbound it, or at least it's dead in the backcourt.
Right. Before the game, UConn had some business to take care of. On opening day against Northeastern, Kalena Green scored her 1,000th point. She only needed a bucket. And in that same game, Tina Charles got her 1,000th rebound. And Tina also received, as we said, the USA Basketball Developmental Female Player of the Year Award. And that's coming from the USA National Team Coach, Gina Auriemma, who will coach the Olympic team in London in 2012. There's the points off the turnovers. And Hofstra promptly comes out of the timeout and turns it over for the 11th time.
Yeah, case in point, that 11th turnover, while obviously Kilburn and Stavesky not happy about it, but at least it didn't lead to a transition bucket on the other end.
Hayes, right side Farris. The one-touch pass to Moore, but it was deflected from behind by Fuller, and that's the 5th turnover for UConn. And then Moore comes right back. If ever she's going to throw one down, not that time. Instead, a little Dr. J move.
Oh, my.
On top of everything else that Maya possesses, she has unusually large hands, and that facilitates that kind of scoop shot.
Yeah, not to mention tremendous upper body strength.
Yep. Moore with 12 points has already moved into the 16th spot on the all-time list. And we're going to get a foul called on UConn underneath. Take a look at
there,
Moore.
she knocks it away, and then Farris with the nice lead pass. And then check this out. She makes it all look easy.
Foul on Doty, her 2nd and 4 on the team. Evans departs, and to the free throw line will go Jess Fuller, whose real name is Trinice. At junior college at Monroe Community College, she was a first-team All-American 3 years ago when she was a sophomore, and 4 years ago when she was a freshman. Her team won the national championship. And then in her first year at Hofstra, she missed the last 25 games with a leg injury. Green up top to Doty. Charles turns and shoots over Fuller. Can't get it to fall. Rebound kept alive by Green.
And that's just the hustle and the relentlessness of this team.
Doty. McLaren flashes at the high post. They get it to her. She turns and fires. Rebound to Malone. That last foul, by the way, was not on Doty, was on Hayes. So that's 1 on Hayes and only 1 on Doty. So 4 on the team. The kick by Doty. Of course, she knows all about kicking from her exploits on the soccer field at Germantown Academy.
Yeah, sadly, that was where she first tore her ACL.
Did it in fall of her senior year. She didn't play basketball her senior year. And she tore the ACL again last year against Syracuse last January in Hartford. Doty and Charles combined for the steal and the 13th Hofstra turnover.
The big girl said, no point guard, don't worry about it. I got it covered.
Doty for 3. Back rims it. And we're going to get a rebound foul on Farris. Her first and number 5 on the Huskies. There's a look at Farris, who was a McDonald's All-American at Heritage Christian High School in Indiana a year ago. And Gino Auriemma loves what he sees in her.
Yeah, I mean, he was saying that she's even better than he expected her to be. And he doesn't make comments like that very often. He usually waits until you graduate to say anything nice.
Well, I thought you said in our open that everyone likes to come back and visit him.
Well, he says nice things about you now, so why not?
Shot clock inside 10. Capurso. Fuller set the screen. Instead, Capurso went the other way and then threw it right through the lane. Bond picks it up. McLaren lost the rebound over the end line, and it will stay at this end for Hofstra. Huskies looking for a 4-0 start for the 5th consecutive year. Also looking for their 24th straight win in the month of November. Gino Auriemma gets a personal explanation from John Palermo. He's about as nice a guy as you'd ever see wearing a striped shirt. McLaren stole it, but then immediately was called for the travel. So it will stay at this end.
Thanks, John. Gino had asked him about the shot clock.
Of course, John's brother Steve was one of the great umpires in baseball history until he tragically was involved in an incident which resulted in the end of his umpiring career. He was a good Samaritan coming to the aid of a woman, and he was shot and was not able to continue his career because of the injuries suffered. So officiating has been a big part in that family in 2 different sports. Entry pass to Charles, knocked away from behind by Malone. Hofstra's very active at the defensive end, aren't they?
I have been so impressed with how hard they play and how smart they are.
On the kick, we've had a lot of kicks tonight, haven't we, huh? It's like the Giants offense, a lot of kicking, not much else. There's the prize for going 39-0 last year. UConn winning its 6th national championship. This season began with a 70-point win over Northeastern on opening day. Tina Charles 26-13. Then a trip to San Antonio, the site of this year's Final Four, and the thumping of Texas. Maya Moore with 20 and 11 and 4 blocks last Friday in Worcester against Holy Cross. Caroline Doty helping a very balanced attack with 11 points, 7 assists. She was 3 for 4 from the floor. And Megan, of course, the biggest difference between this year's team and last year's team is the loss of Renee Montgomery. It's impossible to replace someone like that. And it was discussed who would play the point. Well, Caroline Doty has played a lot of minutes at the point. She's only turned the ball over 3 times all season, which is remarkable.
It is remarkable, especially when you consider she only played 17 games as a freshman before she got hurt last year. So that just speaks to her mental toughness and how this coaching staff has her prepared. And, you know, the 1 and 2 guard spots have got to be interchangeable this year.
Charles with another blocker, second of the night. Charles finds Green on the wing. Down low Moore. Shot clock inside 10. Charles sets the screen. Doty goes around it. Down low to Charles. Spins, draws the double team, and the weak side help by Bond. And the shot clock went off. It shouldn't have, really, because Hofstra had gained possession. And a reach-in foul will be called on the Huskies in the backcourt.
Tremendous defense by Hofstra. Great weak side help underneath to steal that ball. Bond came from the baseline side to knock that away from Tina Charles.
First foul on Moore and 6 on the team. Up top, Fuller, who was a preseason second-team All-CAA selection. On the left, Capurso knocks down another 3.
And again, when the scouting report says she's the only one who can shoot the 3, that's the last person. If you're UConn, that's the last person you want to take the shot.
Well, Moore can shoot the 3 also. She knocks down her second 3 of the night. She's 4th in the Big East in 3-point percentage at 45.5. On the switch, reverses it to Bond. Back to Capurso. We approach the 6-minute mark. UConn by 16. Capurso passed it right into the hands of Green. 16 Hofstra turnovers, and then Bond steals it right back. Ahead to Capurso. They have numbers if they hurry. Capurso hoists the 3, and there's Moore hustling down for the rebound. So Hofstra failed to take advantage of the 3-on-2. Doty right down Broadway.
And there, no one stopped the ball except at the end there with a body block. And check this out. Okay, the first rule on the break is to stop the ball. Well, didn't quite happen there. Marie Malone came over and finally fouled her to stop the play.
Her second foul, 7 on the team. UConn is playing shorthanded again tonight. They haven't had Lauren Dixon all year. She remains sidelined with the strained hamstring and is not likely to play at all this weekend. So that limits them to 10. And then Jackie Fernandez, our fans probably didn't even know Jackie's hair was that long. They've never seen it during a game like that. She's suffering from the flu. Not a severe case, but bad enough that she can't play tonight. So UConn playing with only 9 bodies tonight.
And not of the swine variety. Don't worry about it.
Nice spin move by Bellacchio. Fed Evans inside, and Charles comes down with her 6th first half rebound.
It would have been nice for Evans to knock that shot down to get herself going a little bit offensively here.
Moore, kick out Doty. Ball fake called for the travel. Turnover number 10 on UConn. So if there's one bugaboo for the Gina Oriema's club, it's the turnovers. And they're only, and again the word only is relative, 7th in turnover margin in the Big East this year. Normally they're much closer to the top in that category.
Yeah, I've been surprised by the. Oh, what a screen Evans set on Tiffany Hayes. Wow.
Hayes is counting her jaws right now.
Yeah.
Make sure they're all there.
That'll be good for a trip to the chiropractor.
Doty picks up the dribble. Finds Green. Up high Moore. Ball fake. Gives to Green. She gets a step on Bond, who's called for the block. Her first, and 8 on the team.
And Bond did try to say she pushed off. There was a little bit of push up, but there was a little body contact first.
Substitution UConn Kelly Farris replacing Doty, who sits down with 7 points and 3 assists.
This lull that we see right now from UConn, I think right now they're a little bit stunned that Hofstra just hasn't gone away. And I give a lot of credit and respect to the Hofstra coaching staff and the team for what they've done. They've been fun to watch, and they're not afraid.
Green with the missed free throw. Bond can't get the 3 to go, and Moore comes away with her 4th rebound of the night. Another collision. Boy, Hayes is going to need a whirlpool treatment at halftime. Inside, Balakio dragged the pivot throw. 17 turnovers for the Pride.
And again, more walks tonight than we have seen all season combined. But check this.
Somewhere in that locker room, there's an ice pack with the number 3 on it. Waits for her.
There's a couple of them, I think.
She's been drilled twice in the last few moments.
You just a heads-up play, though, by Balakio.
Charles up high. Finds the cutter Farris, and that way Bond just tried to fight right through the screen and knock Moore down. 2 fouls on Bond and 9 on the Pride.
Well, the question is, why wasn't the foul called at half court on Balakio and Tiffany Hayes? Either way, either a block or a charge. There you see the foul on Bond, just pushing through Moore, who was set on her screen.
Well, Krista Kilburn-Stavetsky told me about UConn. They are a nightmare to guard. They attack on every play. Their kids are driven, and we've never played anybody quite like them. She said she's looked at tapes of most of the best teams in the country already this year, trying to find, some sort of common thread so you can try to figure out, well, how are we going to approach playing them? And she said, I threw my hands up and said, who am I trying to kick? I should start watching WNBA tapes because there's nobody else in the country that's quite like them.
Yeah, there really isn't. And again, Kilburn-Stavetsky should be proud of her kids for the way they played first 16 minutes of this game.
Well, they're hanging in there off the boards. UConn only out-rebounding Hofstra by 3, 13-10. But the turnovers have just killed the Pride. Hofstra's got 17 shots and 17 turnovers.
See, the problem there, Balakio has got to drive and penetrate to score. There she tried to pass the ball. Fortunately for Hofstra, they're going to get it back. But you got to go in there looking to score.
17 on the shot clock. Connolly to Capurso. Down low, Evans with the tough catch. Spins, shoots up. Moore might have got away with a foul there.
I was going to say, there's something there.
And Hayes will bring it up the floor. And Krista Kilburn-Stavetsky is lobbying Patty Fernandez for a call. Moore, ball fake, puts it on the floor. There's that Julia Shirley move again.
Nothing you can do about that.
Maya Moore has outscored Hofstra 18-15.
She's got a tendency of doing that.
Yeah. She had outscored Holy Cross for a while last week. Capurso misses the 3. Long rebound to her teammate Connolly. Farris with the steal. She's got Charles to her left. Not necessarily the person to look for in the open floor, but it all worked out just fine.
And they're laughing in there. Yeah, you want to give that to the point guard, not to the center.
Yeah, part of the deal running on the break, get it into the hands of the right people, not necessarily the center. Moore's got 18. Once you figure that out, let me know. Right, take a few notes down.
Elastic helps, I know that.
UConn with a 20-point lead over Hofstra. The Huskies well on their way toward extending their remarkable winning streak to 43 games. Their last loss to Stanford in the semifinals of the Final Four 2 seasons ago, April 6th, 2008. And they returned.
That'll be a fun game.
Coming up, what is it, December 23rd?
I think. Yeah, that's not that far away.
Of course, the Huskies returned the favor by beating Stanford in the Final Four last year in the semifinals in St. Louis.
Nice rebound by Fuller.
So Fuller with the putback. She's got 7. The Stanford game December 23rd. It will be at the XL Center in Hartford at 5:30, a nationally televised game, and that should be a classic. Stanford has virtually everyone back in last year's team.
Great D by Fuller, getting around on that high side, stealing the entry pass inside to Charles.
In that Stanford game, 3 of the 5 players on the preseason Associated Press All-America team will be on the floor as Malone hits the shot, and here comes Hofstra. Doty defended by Bellacchio. That last foul before the commercial break was on Brigham, third.
Oh, that's terrible.
Pushing foul called on Charles, creating space.
Part of that problem is Tiffany Hayes didn't get her the ball fast enough. I thought Charles is working hard, doing a great job posting up. Get her the ball. She's wide open. See, go look at her, look at her, look at her, look at her. What are you waiting for?
Wow.
That's a bad call. I love John Palermo, but that's a bad call.
2 on Charles, 7 on the Huskies as Bellacchio brings it up the floor. Bellacchio's older sister Tina is an assistant coach at NYU Poly. Offensive rebound by Asia Jenkins, number 3, who checks in. Feeds Malone inside, blocked from behind by Moore. Here's Hayes. Pulls up for the 3 and knocks it down.
Seems like it's been a week since they hit a 3-pointer.
Third 3 of the night for UConn, the first by someone not named Moore. And Hofstra comes right back. Asia Jenkins, a transfer from Cincinnati. He never actually played for the Bearcats. He committed to going there. When they made a coaching change, she decided that she wanted to come back and play closer to her New Jersey home, so she's at Hofstra. Turnover on Doty.
Well, and Doty's upset, but you know what? There could have been a couple fouls called there. And I'm of the thinking, though, as a fan watching the game, just let them play. You know, it was insignificant there. But, you know, that's where the inconsistency comes in. Jenkins
right side pull up. Rebound to number 34, Kelly Farris. Already her 3rd of the night in limited duty. Down low, Charles.
Great position.
Hayes did a good job of finding it.
Absolutely. She passed it to the outstretched hand away from the defense. All she had to do is catch, turn, and score. Another steal.
Hayes goes by Bellacchio and hands to Doty.
Very unselfishly passes to her roommate. And that's how they get you, Bob. It's just like that. You know, it looked as if Hofstra was making a little run, and then next thing you know, it's 22.
UConn shooting 65% in the first half. Here comes Doty the other way. Has Moore trailing her to the right. Doty takes it herself. Probably should have thought about using the left hand there. Look at Moore hustle. Down low, Charles spins. Rebound, Fuller.
Good box by Fuller once that shot went up.
Less than a half-second difference between the game clock and the play clock. Down low, Malone. Basket will not count. Instead, a blocking foul on Doty. Her 2nd, 8 on UConn. So the shot clock will be off as Malone goes to the line to shoot the 1-on-1.
There's been so much contact in this game, and I'm curious about Doty. I thought she had position. That's a pretty good call, I think. It's hard to tell from that angle.
Malone 2 years ago as a freshman at West Virginia played in 13 games, scored 10 points for Mike Carey's Mountaineers, then transferred. And this is her first season at Hofstra. She's 8th in the CAA in field goal shooting percentage, getting the start tonight because Krista Kilburn-Stavetsky wanted some more size on the floor when the game began. So UConn will play for 1, up by 20. Doty sat down after picking up her 2nd personal foul. Moore up high. See if they can get it down low to Charles, which is always their first option in the half court. There she is. Kick out Moore, reverse to Farris for 3. Green tries to keep the rebound alive, does, had it blocked by Fuller at the horn. So UConn shot 60% in the first half. They forced Hofstra into 20 turnovers. 18 points for Moore, 11 for Charles, 9 points for Caroline Doty. Who says basketball is a non-contact sport? And here's one of 13 UConn steals with Hayes finding Doty at the other end. It's a 20-point lead at the break. UConn forced 20 first-half turnovers, committed 14 themselves, and leads Hofstra 43-23 at halftime. Bob Picozzi back at Gamble Pavilion, where UConn is looking for its season-opening 4th straight win. Megan Kumo is standing by with the associate head coach of the Huskies, Chris Daly.
All right, Bob, thank you very much, CD. The one number that I noticed in the stat sheet, those 14 turnovers, is that why it took you guys so long to come out of the locker room?
Yeah, we threw the ball around a lot. Not happy with that. Just not a great first half for us.
All right, what are some things aside from that looking to? Because there are no points off the bench either. What are you looking for here in the second half?
Throwing it to our guys would be a start. And then, I just think that we tried to force the ball inside too much when they played zone. We didn't get out in transition enough. Defensively we did some good things, but we gave up the 2 threes to the only kid that can make threes, so that wasn't happy. And I scattered him, and I know that. So I got to go. Back to you, Bob.
Okay, Chris, thank you very much. There's Maya Moore, who nearly outscored Hofstra in the first half herself. Very physical first half. If you look at the highlights, no call here at center court as Tiffany Hayes got rocked, and then coming right back, Doty with a little straight arm at Balakio. The jump hook by Jess Fuller, 7 points, 4 rebounds, 3 for 3 from the floor. Moore with one of UConn's 13 steals and 2 of her 18 points. She was 7 for 8 from the floor. Tina Charles gets it inside. She had 11 points and 6 rebounds in 18 minutes in the first half. And there are the numbers. Megan mentioned the turnovers. 20 for Hofstra, 14 for UConn. The Huskies outshot the Pride, but look at the rebounds, Meg, as Hofstra really held its own with UConn off the board.
They did. They were a scrappy bunch there in that first half, and to snag 15 rebounds against this Connecticut team, I was impressed with their effort.
UConn trying to extend a remarkable winning streak. They've won 227 straight home games against unranked opponents. That's a streak that goes all the way back. The last loss at home to an unranked opponent to Georgetown on February 27, 1993. And there are many reasons why Gino Auriemma is on the brink of winning his 700th game. But one of them, Megan, is that UConn throughout his tenure rarely loses a game they're not supposed to lose to. When they lose, it's almost always to a very good team and a nationally ranked team.
Absolutely. And that is, I would say, largely due to the preparation. He always has his teams incredibly prepared, and his practices are so difficult that games are easy.
Hofstra ball to begin the second half. Balakio up high to Malone. And she's called for the double dribble. So you got to believe that Krista Kilburn-Stavetsky spent a good part of halftime talking about handling the ball. So they proceed to turn it over 11 seconds into the second half.
And that's just not the way you want to start the half. I mean, they kind of had a moral victory in that first half. It would have been really good for them to come out and score their first possession.
Cross court Hayes. Baseline Green. Over Fuller.
Already better ball movement. I like the way they moved it side to side. Kalena Green running that baseline, knocked it down. Then now they can get into that full court pressure.
Full court zone trap. Hofstra beats it easily this time. Capurso, who did not start the game, does start the second half. She had started in the first 3 games. Brigham on the bench with 3 fouls. Cross court. Capurso has 2 threes. Can't get this one to fall. Long rebound. Fuller tried to save, but it saves it into the hands of Kalena Green, and UConn has a 5-on-4 advantage here.
Well, and the problem is, Fuller, you got to run back a little bit harder on defense.
You got to run back a lot harder. Doty with the miss. Moore with the offensive rebound. Her 6th rebound of the night.
I think that'll be pointed out on Hofstra's game film.
Moore catch and shoot from the elbow. So she's got 20 points. 3rd time this year, 33rd time in her magnificent career, which is only a little more than halfway over. Inside Evans, those are her first basket of the night. UConn's done a great job defending her.
They have. I mean, she's a tough post player. You can see in that move. Speaking of tough.
Green comes right back. Cross court pass right into the hands of Moore. 22nd turnover for Hofstra. Doty drives, kicks the green, who's got 6 points in the first minute 55 of the second half. And Hofstra's going to take a timeout here. So not the start that Krista Kilburn-Stavetsky wanted to the second half. Playing against the Gino Auriemma coach team that has won 94 of its last 96 games here at Gampel Pavilion. The only losses in that stretch to Notre Dame and Rutgers. And what a start to the second half by Kalena Green. Green with 6 points in the first minute 55. We'll step aside with UConn up by 26. UConn by 26. So Megan, I understand you hosted on Thanksgiving. How many people were at your house?
About, including us, 8.
Well, then there are the Brighams of Simsbury, Connecticut. John and Leslie, their daughter Sam is a senior guard for Hofstra. They had a few people over their house. There they are. 29 people, including the entire Hofstra team, all the way to your left. John and Leslie Brigham. If they stood up and turned around, you would see the number 13 on their backs. That's their daughter's number. But they were gracious enough to invite the entire Hofstra team.
Leslie is loving it. Look there, she heard you.
Number 13. And so we were talking to the Hofstra people. We said, well, where do they have this dinner, at Rentschler Field? No, they had it at their house. Some people ate in the dining room. Some people ate in the kitchen. Some people ate in the den. Some people ate in the family room. But everybody ate.
Ate a lot. That's the key to Thanksgiving.
So it had to be more than one turkey, right?
Oh, yeah.
For 29 people. So it's very, very nice of the Brighams to invite the entire team over and let the team have some semblance of normalcy. Better to eat over a teammate's house than in a hotel, right? Or a restaurant.
That's it. They hung around, they ate, they fell asleep a little bit. I mean, that's what you do on Thanksgiving. You can't do that in a restaurant.
Right side Fuller. Cross court. Hoisting the three is Brigham.
On cue. She's been plagued by foul trouble tonight. Nice to see her knock down that three.
She was an all-state performer. Made the Hartford Courant all-state team 4 years ago at Simsbury High. Made the CAA all-rookie team as a freshman at Hofstra. And what a thrill it is for her to come back and play in her home state against the #1 ranked team in the country. Doty, right side jumper. Rebound on a hop to Malone. Here's Bellacchio as Evans to her right. And Bellacchio will reset the offense in the half court. Foul will be called on Moore. Her second, one on UConn here in the second half.
And Krista Kilburn-Stavetsky just said, put her hand in the air and turned around to her fans and said, finally. And then she looked at the official. She said, that should have been her 3rd foul. Talking about Maya Moore.
Here's Brigham to Bellacchio. And Charles steps into the passing lane and comes away with UConn's 15th steal.
That was great defense by Charles. Bellacchio just had to dribble below that foul line extended, get a better angle going in there.
Doty drives and penetrates it to Charles.
Tremendous dish.
5th assist for Doty. And 13 points for Charles and the 24th turnover for Hofstra. Charles low block, single team. That's not going to work. And the foul on Fuller.
Yeah, Fuller's body language is saying right now that
I've had enough.
A little bit tired. Yeah, I've had enough.
Roberto Duran, no mas. So Charles at the line. Hofstra now with a season-high 24 turnovers. They turned the ball over 22 times on Wednesday against Albany, and Albany doesn't quite have the defensive presence of UConn.
Yeah, that's why they had 20 here in the first half. Because UConn just makes you do things that you never have done before.
Charles had been 3 for 3 from the line tonight and was 6 for 6 last Friday against Holy Cross. Finally misses one. Hayes to Doty. Doty drives down the lane. Can't get it to fall. The putback by Charles.
Great work by Tina Charles on the boards to get that inside position.
Charles was 15. She entered the game with exactly the same number of points as Maya Moore this season. Moore with the steal and the unselfish play.
She just shrugged her shoulders like, well, I don't know.
And then Moore with another steal and a foul on Capurso. So, I mean, we say this all the time. I know we sound like a broken record, but you take a tremendous talent, a great athlete, great basketball skills, then you combine that with the best possible work ethic, you got an unstoppable player.
Yeah, you do, and that's Maya Moore.
Timeout. Well, you can never start them too early, right?
Absolutely.
Class of what, 2022 maybe?
Yeah, at least, right?
And I'll bet you that young lady's a Maya Moore fan, and who in the building isn't? And what a performance she's putting on tonight.
Well, again, the smooth three-pointer, and then streaking up the court, and then defensively, the presence of mind to tap it away, and then the nice pass from Ferris, and the Dr. J-like layup. I mean, we talk about it all the time. She's got a little bit of everything. And
she missed the shot, though. Look.
Oh, well, Gina's going to have to talk to her. But, you know, she's unselfish, too.
Entering the game, she was shooting 63.6% from the floor, and she's 8 for 9 tonight from the floor. And probably has played better at the defensive end than the offensive end, if that's possible.
Absolutely. And, you know, she doesn't force things. She lets the game come to her.
Yep. They really don't run stuff for her.
No.
They don't need to.
Tina's getting held inside.
Moore starts to go in his travel. It'll be the 15th turnover on the Huskies. Once again, Gino Auriemma looking for career win number 700 tonight. His old mentor, Debbie Ryan, won her 700 game earlier this season. Debbie became the 10th to do it. Gino will become the 11th. Asia Jenkins for 3. Air ball, rebound, Moore, her 7th. Doty in transition. Green on the right, baseline, and draws the foul on Connolly. Her 3rd, and number 3 on Hofstra here in the second half.
Colleen has been so much more active here in the first 5 minutes of the second half.
So Green will go to the free throw line. She, of course, like Doty, has bounced back from a torn ACL injury. Hers came 2 seasons ago, lost the last 30 games, but it happened, unlike Doty, it happened early enough in the year that she could be a medical redshirt. So Kalani decided to stick around as a 5th-year senior and use up the 4th year of her athletic eligibility.
And she's such a good leader, and she's becoming more vocal. I mean, that's not in her nature, but you know, when you become a senior, especially a 5th-year senior, you know your time is waning here. She wants another one. She wants another championship.
She's got 11 and another turnover for Hofstra. Hayes to Doty too far ahead of her. And Doty could not quite catch up. So the Huskies with their 16th turnover. And Doty will get a rest, replaced by Kelly Farris. Again, UConn with only 9 healthy bodies tonight. Lauren Dixon remains out with a hamstring injury. Jackie Fernandez sidelined for the night with a touch of the flu.
Megan Gardner hasn't been in the game.
And we haven't seen Heather Bucky. Yeah, that's a little strange not to see Megan Gardner in at this point. Normally there's a little message there. Usually relates to practice. We certainly don't know that for a fact. But on a night when only 9 people are available, it's a little strange that one of them who's in the regular rotation has not been in. Here we are at 35 minutes into the game. Green to Farris. What a finish. First 2 for Farris. Second assist of the night for Green. And the 16th assist for UConn on 25 field goals. Malone with the runner, finishing with the left hand. Hofstra a year ago finished with a record of 18-16. 10th place in the CAA. McLaren
nice pass.
Down low. Moore finally missed. Only her 2nd miss of the night. Here's Bellacchio the other way. Takes it right to the goal and will draw the blocking foul on Green. Her 2nd and number 2 on the team. Transition basketball at its best.
Well, and again, unselfishness and Kalana Green has been a part of everything good that's happened offensively here in the first 6+ minutes of the second half.
line, Bellacchio. The three-point shot is really not a very integral part of Hofstra's game. Bellacchio and Brigham, the starting backcourt, entered the game between them with only 3 three-point attempts for the season. Bellacchio's only tried 2 of them. Hasn't attempted 1 tonight.
It's pretty impressive because they score 76 points a game. That's a lot of points to put up there with not a lot of threes.
Yeah, they only have 5 threes all year. They have 3 more tonight. Ball knocked out of bounds. It'll stay UConn's way. Here comes Megan Gardler, placing green. Gardler's been very productive in her minutes so far this season, averaging 6 points per game off the bench.
She's a kid who just understands what her responsibilities are and what her role is.
Low block McLaren, shoots over Fuller.
So that's where McLaren can be so dangerous because she is such a threat passing the ball, but she can shoot the ball too, and so she's very difficult to defend.
50% shooter early in the season. Sat out the first game with a sprained foot. That was her first basket of the night. Fuller, right side Bond for the runner. And in the lane, the rebound loose on the floor. Farris comes away with it. Ball poked away right in front of us. It'll be UConn's ball. Substitution Hofstra. Capurso back in. And she'll replace Jenkins. I think Krista Kilburn-Stavetsky thinks that Jenkins might have had a little quick trigger on that last shot. It's interesting how if you don't think that coaches matter when kids make a decision on where they're going to go to school, Jenkins decided to go to Cincinnati, was recruited by then coach Lori Pirtle. Pirtle lost her job and Jenkins said, I don't want to stay. Foul from behind on Fuller, her second and 4 in the team. Meanwhile, Cincinnati has proceeded to change coaches yet again.
Right.
And Husky great.
They made a pretty good decision this time, didn't they?
Jamel Elliott in her first year as a head coach, and she will be coming back to Connecticut to play the Huskies on January 7th right here at Gamble Pavilion. We'll have that one for you on CPTV. Think she might get a nice ovation that night?
Just a chance, yeah. One of the all-time greats, Jamel.
Gardler catch and shoot on the foul. Didn't take her long to get on the board.
And you see the excitement of her teammates for that play. Those are the intangibles. Caroline Doty was the happiest person. Watch the way Doty picks her up. Those are the intangibles that every team who plays UConn, they want to get that. Some teams have it, but no one has it like Connecticut does.
Under Jamel Elliott, Cincinnati off to a 3-2 start this year. Capurso for 3.
And what did Chris Daly say at halftime? The only kid who can shoot threes got 2 of them, and it's not going to make her happy.
Oh, she now got 3 of them. Moore for her own 3. In and out, rebound in the lane to Capurso. Here's Bellacchio. Bellacchio takes it all the way to the rim.
Nice aggressive take. That's what I was saying earlier about Bellacchio. You go in there as a threat to score, then you can pass the ball.
She's got 5. Sophomore from Staten Island. Doty.
Selfish.
Moore for 3 again.
That was a great pass from Doty.
Third 3 and 4 attempts for Moore. And with that 3, she moves ahead of Maria Conlon into 8th place on the UConn career list for 3-pointers. That was her 171st. By the time she's 3, she's going to own just about all of the offensive records.
Yeah, I think so.
Moore
she just
banged her hip a little bit on that rebound.
Timeout, Hofstra.
Timeout on the floor. Candice Bellacchio missed 23 games last year with a hand injury, and Krista Kilburn-Stavetsky says Hofstra's a completely different team with a healthy Bellacchio. She leads the CAA in assists, although she has only 1 of them tonight. Doesn't really shoot that much. And last time down the floor, she made an aggressive move to the hole.
Well, you know, the defense has got to respect your ability to score. I mean, everyone knows coming in that she had 14 assists against St. Francis earlier this year, so they know that she's a great passer. Well, they're going to play off you if you're not a threat to score. So first be a threat to score, and when she does that, as she did there, she can score herself, and then she will open up more opportunities for her teammates.
Of course, big weekend for UConn athletics. The football team is at home tomorrow to play Syracuse at noon. And we would be remiss if we did not congratulate Randy Edsall and his UConn Huskies for giving UConn fans and the people of Connecticut one of their greatest moments in UConn history last Saturday. They went and played in the most famous college football venue of them all, Notre Dame Stadium. First game ever against Notre Dame. Fell behind 14-0. Overcame a couple of highly questionable holding calls
boy,
late in the game.
say the least.
And then beat the Irish in
on
overtime
national television
for what Randy Edsall called the greatest win ever when you factor in everything. And of course, the biggest factor of all, the tragic death of Jasper Howard only a month earlier. And this was UConn's first win since then. And Randy Edsall with an emotional live interview on NBC right after the game, saying how the game ball was going to be sent down to Miami to Jasper's family. The basketball bond. So congratulations to the Huskies and best of luck to them tomorrow against Syracuse.
Yes, sold out Rentschler.
That's good. Well, it should be, because boy, those kids have been through an ordeal that no one should have to go through.
Absolutely. Wish them well. 7 years in Division 1A.
On the right, Doty went through her hands. Didn't quite look it into her hands. Pass might have been a little off target, but certainly catchable. 17th turnover for UConn. It's about to extend its regular season winning streak to 41. Just around the corner, isn't it? The new year?
Absolutely.
Believe it or not.
I know. Scary, isn't it?
Thanksgiving out of the way. Big Thanksgiving weekend here at Gamble Pavilion. Remember, 2 more games tomorrow. It will be Clemson and Hofstra in the first game at 5. UConn and Richmond in the second game, 7:30 here on CPTV. Then right back at you on Sunday, another doubleheader here at Gamble. It will be Hofstra and Richmond at 2 o'clock Sunday. UConn and Clemson, 4:30 Sunday on CPTV. A reach-in foul will be called on Megan Gardler. Her first and number 3 on the Huskies here in the second half.
It's a nice format for all these teams because you're guaranteed all these games, and it makes it worth your while.
Yeah, the one thing coaches like, they like their team to get some experience, game experience early in the season. It helps prepare you for conference play. Travel on Connolly. And by the way, speaking of conference play, I spoke with all the coaches this week, and they all said the same thing. It's great preparation for your conference tournament.
Oh, yeah.
When you do play, you keep playing, you win, you play the next day. So that's something in the Big East that has, like, what are we up to, about 32 teams? The Big East tournament lasts 5 days now. If you don't get an opening round bye and you keep winning, you could conceivably, you'd have to knock off seeded teams to do it. You could conceivably play 5 games in 5 days. So here's a chance.
So these are great tune-ups.
Right?
Great way to
3 games in 3 days.
Get a good barometer for where your team is.
Farris for 3. Long rebound. Green keeps it alive, and a fresh 30.
Nice.
Great cut for the hole by Farris. She missed the layup. McLaren blocked by Fuller. Fuller's a tremendous shot blocker, by the way. Last year she had 97, most in Hofstra history, and 4th most in the country. And on the drive, another blocking foul will be called on Gardler. Her second and 4 on the team.
Well, she's 6'4", Jess Fuller, the senior from Queens. And those long arms.
She entered the night, Meg, with 111 blocks, tied for 3rd most in Hofstra history. So she's now all alone in 3rd place, and it's only her 2nd year.
Yeah, and that's what one thing that I was talking about with Coach before the game about is she wished she had her all 4 years, you know, and she spent those 2 years at Monroe Community College.
Which has a great junior college program, by the way.
Yeah, and she had a tremendous career there.
And then when she came to Hofstra, she got hurt the first year, redshirted, because she missed the last 25 games with a leg injury. Green to the left of the lane. Helena Green with a very productive night. She's got 14 points. That equals her season high. Double figures for the 3rd time this year, and the 53rd time in her career. Capurso, another 3. Rebound Kelly Farris. And Bond and Connolly were both there. Bond will be called for the reach-in, her 3rd. And number 6 on Hofstra. And Capurso departs. Hofstra will play its CAA opener on January 3rd at William & Mary, the team which beat Hofstra last year in the opening round of the CAA tournament. screen. Had the ball taken away from behind by Evans. Brigham to Evans.
Great hustle by Gardler.
Held ball. Like, remember in the old days when you'd have a jump ball, the officials would have had a real tough time to figure out which two are going to jump it up. Arrow pointing toward UConn.
That was just tremendous hustle by Megan Gardler.
Probably some of our younger viewers watching right now. What is he talking about? Jump ball.
Exactly.
Jump ball. That's what you do at the beginning of the game, at the beginning of overtime.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that are making me feel old these days.
Care to elaborate?
There's not enough time.
Doty will walk it up the floor and give to Farris. 9 minutes to go. McLaren, high post. Farris, pass deflected out of bounds by Evans.
Good hands, good active hands there by Evans.
19 seconds left on the shot clock. Gino Auriemma's hand. Bounce pass. Bounce pass.
The forgotten art.
Down low, McLaren. Blocked by Fuller again. Doty. Shot clock down to 7. Ball fake Hayes, the runner. Blocked by Bond. Foul on Bond. That will be her 4th. And 7 on the team. Bond, another one of the freshmen in the Hofstra rotation. Gino Auriemma's got a lot of different hats to juggle. And this is 25th year at UConn. He's, of course, the coach of the USA national team. And, you know, for those people who aren't aware of this, he has a lot of duties associated with that prior to the Olympics in 2012. He's also the coach, the president of the WBCA, Women's Basketball Coaches Association, which is the name of this classic, the WBCA Classic. That .851 career winning percentage, second only to Leon Barmore in women's basketball history, and the best among active coaches. Of course, when you win at the pace that Gino wins at, he has to win 5 or 6 games for it to go from .851 to .852. And he is a member of 2 Halls of Fame. Hayes on the kick, one of them the Women's Basketball Hall of Fame. In Knoxville, Tennessee, the ovation for Heather Buck, who makes her first appearance, and an equally loud ovation for Kylie McLaren as she leaves. Defeats, leaves. I always confuse those 2 words.
It's easy to see why you
One begins with a D and the other one with an L. Knocked loose by Farris. Jenkins to Evans. Over Buck. Nice shot.
That's not what she's known for, but she'll take it.
Second field goal for Evans. She's got 4.
You'll see that young lady continue to improve as her career continues. She'll be shooting threes before long.
Doty around the Buck screen. Farris, foul line pull-up. Rebound in traffic. Evans, her 4th. Krista Kilburn-Stavesky told me about Evans. She provides an instant scoring punch, and when she realizes how good she can be, she could become one of the best to ever play at Hofstra. Can't get that one to fall. Farris rebound on a hop at the 7:30 mark.
This is tough for a freshman, especially on the post player, because just think last year at this time she was playing against high school kids. How about that play?
3rd assist for Moore, and Hayes with 7 points.
You know, she's only been playing against college kids for, you know, since September. It's quite a learning curve, and then to play this team, well, forget it.
Averaged 28 a game last year, his senior year at Henderson High School. Here's Doty the other way as we approach the 7-minute mark. Right side, Doty to the cutter, Farris, and she's called for the travel. 19th turnover for UConn. Tiffany Hayes, one of 3 Huskies on the preseason watch list for the Naismith and Wade National Player of the Year Awards. She's got 7 points and 3 assists. Well, not all the precincts have reported, but we're going to go out on a limb and say that Gino Auriemma with that 34-point lead is going to get his 700th win. Here's a look at Gino through the years. Look at the do, Meg.
Wow, look at that hair.
Former AD Lou Perkins. Rebecca Lobo, his first National Player of the Year. star of the first national championship team. There's the second title. They went 39-0 that year, won their third title. And he will also be the fastest to get to 700 wins. He'll become the 8th active coach and the 11th coach in women's basketball history with 700 wins. And some of the milestones along the way, of course, the 6 most memorable ones, the national championship ones. Number 100, you were on the floor for that one.
I was.
And you were an assistant coach for the 200th one. And you've been behind the microphone for the rest of it. You're tough to get rid of. Hayes,
like a bad cold. Maybe the swine flu.
Rebound Gardler. Here's Jenkins, 2-on-1. Has Amara Terry to her left. Jenkins didn't want to have any of that. She's going to shoot it herself.
I didn't want to give that one up. Lucky for her, it went in, though.
So in the lineup for Hofstra, number 12, Amara Terry, 5'8" junior from Atlanta. More down low. Buck rolls to the hoop.
Wow.
4th assist for Moore. First basket of the night for Buck, the former 2-time Connecticut Gatorade High School Player of the Year at Stonington High School. Inside the 6-minute mark. Normally with a big lead like this, UConn would empty its bench, but there's really no bench to empty tonight. They only have 9 healthy bodies. Hayes, deep 3.
Oh, that was way downtown.
Her second of the night and 5th of the year. She's second in the Big East in 3-point shooting percentage, knocking down 50% of them. Low block Evans, shot blocked by Buck. Buck was there, so was Gardler, and Buck will be called for her first personal foul.
I just love the way Maya Moore plays there. And a nice roll after the screen there by Heather Buck. But just that shot fake, you know, that's what I'm talking about. Being a threat to score. The defense will respect that. And they did that, but she's such a good passer.
Evans misses the first free. There's a familiar face.
Hey, Jack Hayes.
The athletic director at Hofstra, before going to Hofstra, become the captain of his own ship. He was the associate director of athletics for development here at UConn. He's done a great job there at Hofstra. And of course, the Hofstra men's team played the UConn men's team here at Gamble in the, I guess that was the 2nd round of the NIT season tip-off. By the way, the Huskies men's team losing tonight at Madison Square Garden to Duke 68-59 in the championship game.
A low-scoring game.
First matchup in college basketball history between coaches with 800 wins in that one. Mike Krzyzewski and Jim Calhoun. Foul will be called, I think it's Brigham's 4th.
Yeah.
Hofstra over the limit, so it'll be 1-1 the rest of the way. En route to the 700 wins, Gina Auriemma has experienced 14 consecutive 30-win seasons, 16 straight 25-win seasons. He's been to 10 Final Fours, second only to Pat Summitt's 11, and has won 6 national championships, second only to Pat Summitt's 8. And in winning those 6 national championships, they beat Tennessee 4 times in the finals and beat Tennessee in the semifinals before beating Oklahoma. Last year was the first time the UConn won a national championship without having to go through Tennessee in the Final Four. On the drive, Bond no good. Rebound Farris inside the 5-minute mark. Hayes will be called for the push. 6th team foul on UConn and the 2nd foul on Hayes. So Gino will celebrate tonight by doing what? Going home and coming back around for shoot around tomorrow morning, getting ready to play another game. Go after 7:01, right?
Absolutely.
Look at that pass. I don't see too many of them.
Risky to say the least.
Low block, the double team, and the weak side steal by Farris. Bucks. I think Buck's going to get nailed for the foul. Her second, 7 on the team, so Hofstra will shoot the 1-and-1. Hofstra is one of only 3 schools this year, the other 2 being Texas and Oklahoma, that is playing the #1 ranked team in men's basketball and women's basketball. The Hofstra men have already played Kansas, who's ranked #1 in men's basketball. Of course, Texas and Oklahoma will play Kansas because they're all in the Big 12 together.
Well, and I think both, I know the Hofstra men, when they came, gave the UConn men a great game. And I think the women, the Hofstra women tonight have done themselves proud.
Bond unable to save. This is the first time Hofstra has ever played the #1 ranked team in the country, but 3 other Hofstra athletic teams have defeated #1 ranked teams in the countries in other sports: lacrosse, men's lacrosse, softball, and wrestling. Of course, Long Island, a big area for lacrosse, always has been. Great Jim Brown is from Long Island, and people tell me that Jim Brown was as good at lacrosse as he was at football, which, by the way, is a little hard to believe, since I believe he's the best football player ever. Off Evans' hands and out of bounds with 4:05 remaining. Last touch by UConn, evidently. So Brigham will inbound. Hofstra's never made the NCAA tournament. They did play in a couple of WNITs, 2006 and 2007. Rebound last touch by Evans. And it will go back to the Huskies with 3:56 remaining. UConn about to win its 118th straight game against an unranked opponent, a streak which goes back nearly 5 years. The Hartford women's basketball team, well, that's coming up in just 3:56. Number 700 for Gino to make it official. But UConn will play its annual game against the Hartford Hawks coming up on December 10th at the XL Center. We'll have it for you at 7 o'clock here on CPTV. Part of this 7-game homestand for the Huskies. And as Gardler drives to the hoop, she draws the foul from behind. Just making sure that ponytail's still attached. So she'll go to the line to shoot a couple. Gardler, the most valuable player of the Philadelphia Catholic League, her senior year at Cardinal O'Hara. Coming up for UConn, the rest of the WBCA Classic. Games with Richmond tomorrow, Clemson Sunday, and then Vermont, the team UConn beat the opening round in the NCAA tournament, will be here at Gamble next Thursday. And a week after that, Hartford at the XL Center, and you'll see all those games on CPTV.
Ooh.
Evans went down in the lane and is yet to get up. Her coach, Krista Kilburn-Staveski, coming out to take a look.
Looks like there's some blood. She got maybe cracked in the nose. Oh, yeah, an inadvertent elbow there from McLaren. Didn't even see her.
So she'll have to go out of the game until they can literally stop the bleeding. And with
Hope it's not serious,
to go,
yeah.
Well, one thing about when you take a shot in the nose there, it's tough. It's tough to stop the bleeding. Doesn't mean there's a serious injury involved, but not allowed to play while you're bleeding. Look at Shea Ralph on the bench there, who has come back to her alma mater to join Gino Auriemma. Now the officials want to take a look at this. Is this because they're possibly considering a flagrant foul? It's one of the new rules this year. They've added to the list of plays that you can use the monitor to deliberate about, and one of them is to determine if a flagrant foul was committed. So that could be what John Palermo and Patty Fernandez
no way
are doing.
Not flagrant at all.
There's a hush over the building. They continue to work on Evans at the other end of the floor.
She cracked her too. And look at this angle. You could see it even more clearly that McLaren didn't even see her there.
Right. Well, one would presume that intent would have to be involved for the flagrant foul to be called. take one more look. Keep your eye on McLaren at the high post. She backs up. Evans moves over.
And you know, Kylie is such a good kid. You know, she looked at going down. She was already had her hands on her and was offering her apologies.
It's going to be interesting. Now they called the third official over, Fatu Kasoko. And evidently
nothing, which is exactly what they should do. Nothing.
Well, now they're calling the two coaches together to explain the ruling at once. So there's a high drama involved here with score 85-45 with 3:31 to go. Probably should be able to determine what the call is by Gino Auriemma's reaction.
That was the face I was waiting for. And once again, inadvertent contact.
So Hofstra ball on the side. After all that, no flagrant foul is the ruling. Jenkins checking into the game for Hofstra is number 50, Isoken Uzamare, junior from Brentwood, New York. Jenkins on the drive. Boy, she loves to shoot. Gardler with the rebound at the 3:10 mark. Hayes. Left side to Buck. Gardler finds Farris behind the McLaren screen for three. Long rebound is taken down by Uzamare, who didn't begin playing basketball until she was 13 years old. Hofstra has an 11-player roster, and now with Uzamare in there, all 11 have played tonight. On the runner, Jenkins, no good. Farris pulls down the rebound. Jenkins has fired up 8 shots in limited duty tonight. Here's Farris. McLaren. Ball fake Gardler. Buck finds Farris for the wide open baseline jumper. Rebound McLaren tried to keep it alive but could not, and it will go back to Hofstra. Those 11+ wins that Hofstra had a year ago, 11 more than the year before, the third best turnaround in the country last year. Remember, there are 330 schools who play Division I basketball. They went from 7 wins 2 years ago to 18 last year.
And what I was impressed with was last year they led the conference not only in field goal percentage, but also field goal percentage defense. So they played great defense.
Great high-low. Buck missed the layup, but padded her offensive rebound total. Gets 2 more. 4 points for Buck as we approach the 90-second mark. Bond's shot no good, and Buck with the rebound. She's a very good rebounder. She had 12 of them in her UConn debut against Northeastern. This is UConn's second game already this year out of 4 against teams from the CAA. They beat Northeastern on opening day. Deflected out of bounds by Brigham. 18 seconds left on the shot clock. Well, if you're wondering where were you and what was happening in the world when Gino Auriemma won his first game in 1985, well, Ronald Reagan was beginning his second term as president. Mikhail Gorbachev had just taken over leadership of the Soviet Union. Back to the Future was in your local theater. Gardner rebounding her own miss.
She gets a lot done inside.
Final minute. Stick around after the game, folks. We will chat with Gino Auriemma, who will reflect on this night of yet another milestone with his 700th win.
And yet another foul called.
This one on McLaren. And that will send Jenkins to the free throw line.
Foul number 41, highly determined. The first 18 foul on Huskies.
Of course, Hofstra is in the CAA. 12 teams in that league. One of them is Delaware. And I don't know how much attention UConn fans are paying to what Delaware has done so far, and in particular one player that UConn fans are familiar with, Elena Deladon, of course, the highly celebrated recruit who came to UConn but did not stay during the summer of 2008. And Meg, in her first 2 college games, Elena Deldon is averaging 27 points a game. Second leading scorer in the CAA. And before she stepped foot on the floor, she was named by the coaches a preseason second-team All-CAA selection.
Something tells me she'll finish up at least first team, if not player of the year.
McLaren called for the travel. So 35 seconds remaining. CAA tournament this year will be played at James Madison University in Harrisonburg, Virginia, March 11th through the 14th. Brigham. Right side Terry to Brigham over McLaren. No good. Rebound Gardler, who's hammered by Uzamare. Her first. And we'll head down the other end of the floor to shoot the 1-and-1 with 17 seconds remaining.
Well, they're not always pretty.
Gino Auriemma said he felt his team was very sloppy in practice during the first 3 weeks of the preseason, but he thinks it's changed in the last 3 weeks. And he said, I've seen a big difference, especially from the older players. I think they've taken more ownership. Just, I wish
he thinks of this game.
I wish every one of our viewers had a chance in their lifetime to see one of UConn's practices, to see how hard they work and how demanding their head coach is with these kids. It all pays off. Well, it's paying off in 700 wins in another 10 seconds.
Exactly.
So that'll do it. So Gino Auriemma, who didn't come to this country until he was 7 years old, is now our next Olympic coach, and he becomes the 11th coach in women's college basketball history to win 700 games. And look at the signs. Everybody in Gamble Pavilion holding a congratulations 700 sign for the Huskies Hall of Fame coach. He's not only won 700 games, but he's only lost 122 of them. Remarkable won-loss percentage of 85.1%. He's coming over, I think, to salute the fans. Well, John Tewitt, the public address announcer, is standing with Gino over at the baseline, and they got the microphone out, and Gino's got his glasses on. So let's see what this is all about.
Student loyalty program drawing.
Oh, it's a student loyalty program drawing.
And a $25 Big Wide gift card.
So it's not quite as dramatic as we thought. At any rate, UConn beats Hofstra 91-46. The Huskies are 4-0. They extend their winning streak to 43. Number 700 for Gino Auriemma. A memorable night here at Gamble Pavilion. UConn beats Hofstra by a score of 91-46. The Huskies are 4-0, but more memorable because it was Gino Auriemma's 700th career win. He's standing by with Megan Kumo.
All right, thank you, Bob. Here with Gino Auriemma, coach. 700 wins. Any thoughts on how this one feels? I know it wasn't the prettiest game of the 700.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't know where that ranks in terms of, you know, aesthetically, but
not very pleasing. Maybe.
Not very pleasing, maybe. But you know, we've been off for a long time, and you know, no school this week, so a lot of sitting around, a lot of getting probably sluggish and bored, and you know, so it took us a little while to get it going. But I thought we started the second half really well, and once we started getting some turnovers and our pressure started to take effect, and you know, I thought all in all, I think it was a good game to get us ready for the next one.
Well, you'd mentioned turnovers. You were in the locker room a long time at the half. You had, I know those 14 turnovers in the first half didn't please you.
Well, I didn't talk to him. I was trying to find a sandwich because I was hungry. I didn't get much to eat right before that. But we talked about that at halftime. We talked about 14 turnovers and talked about, you know, how sluggish we were at times. And I just asked him. I said, look, clean that up, and if we do, we'll be fine. And we came out and started the second half on a run, and you know, that was it.
Nice pregame festivities for Kalena and Tina, very well deserved.
Yeah, I was happy for Kalena. You know, if she hadn't come back this year, she would have been stuck on 999, which would have been terrible. You know, I would have had to arrange something maybe or something. You know, but I was happy for Tina. I thought that was a great honor from USA Basketball, and certainly 1,000 rebounds. You know, she's only the third one to ever do it. You know, besides Rebecca and Jamel. But you know, it's good when your players get recognized for some individual things that are hard to do, and most of those things are hard to do.
All right, I think we have some company.
Big East regular season titles. 17. 6 national championships. 3 perfect seasons. Olympic head coach. 1 time. First. 700 career wins.
If we'd have passed the ball today as well as they did that, I wouldn't have been so upset at halftime. They're pretty clever, these kids, you know. I know they enjoy this kind of stuff, and I'm happy for them. I think it's, you know, it's something that they can kind of remember that they were here for it. You know, that's why you do these things, you know, so that you make some memories and you look back and think about fun stuff like this. And it's fun to coach fun kids. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, you won't remember the turnovers. You remember that.
No, I won't remember.
Good. All right, Bob.
All right, Megan, thank you very much. You notice the kids left out the part about being inducted into the Women's Basketball Hall of Fame and the Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Fame. Then again, there are only 11 players on the team, so they needed to put out one of those advertisements for extra roles in that thing. Let's look at the final statistics. The turnover story, not a very pretty one. Imagine UConn turned it over 23 times, and the other team turned it over 9 more times than that. The Huskies outshot Hofstra by 20% and wound up out-rebounding them by 17. But number 700 for Gino Auriemma, his club off to a 4-0 start. And it's a team that, you know, lost Renee Montgomery from last year's national championship team, and they only have 11 players, and 2 of them weren't healthy tonight. It was pretty sloppy tonight, but they were very good at the defensive end.
Well, as always. And, you know, when you're not shooting the ball well, like, you know, Gina was saying, they came off of a long week of just sitting around doing nothing. So sometimes it takes you a little while to get started. There you see Fuller knocking it in for Hofstra. But, you know, you get the ball to Tina Charles inside. Something's good is going to happen. And Maya Moore is so active defensively and so incredibly athletic. And the nice dish there from Doty. Once again, Helena Green with a terrific evening, showing her athleticism getting to the rim. I mean, if you can get Helena Green involved like that, right, it's going to be a long year for the opponent, the opposition.
Now, Megan, you've been around for nearly all of the 700 wins in one capacity or another. You arrived here in '88, right? Mm-hmm. Your freshman year, fall of '88. So you weren't here for the first 3 years. They weren't that good in the first 3 years, by the way. So most of the 700 wins came since. But you've been a player and an assistant coach and a broadcaster on the radio and television. Gino Auriemma, did you think he was going to stay for 25 years when he first came here? He's a very ambitious guy.
I never thought I'd still be here. No, I never thought. I mean, it's hard, you know, certainly when you're in college, you don't think past, you know, the next 10 minutes. But I never thought he'd be here for 25 years. You know, Hall of Fames and 6 national championships, none of that.
Certainly is not because he's had a shortage of opportunities. I mean, I think about every WNBA team has been knocking on his door.
Right, and other college programs have wanted him. You know, he's always said, you know, he talks about coaching fun kids. It's fun to do that, and he always talks about surrounding yourself with the right types of people, and he's found that here, and there's nowhere else he'd want to be.
So he's only 55 years old. You think of, my goodness, You wonder how long he's going to do this. He might want it if he does it for another 10 or 20 years. He wins 30 games every year. You do the math. I mean, I
can't count that high.
He's already got 700 wins and the quickest to 700 to do it. So a big night for Gino Auriemma. Congratulations to him. It's also the 43rd consecutive win for the Huskies. And as always, there were several great individual performances tonight. Maya Moore, well, she had 23 points, 8 rebounds, 4 assists, 9 for 12 from the floor. Tina Charles, 17 points, 8 rebounds, 7 for 10 from the floor. Kalena Green tied her season high with 14, 6 for 7 from the floor. Didn't anyone miss any shots? Tiffany Hayes had 10 points, and Megan Gardner played 11 minutes and scored 10 points and had 5 rebounds. Connecticut women's basketball comes your way on CPTV tomorrow night when the #1 ranked Huskies take on Richmond as the WBCA Classic continues here on CPTV. Coverage will begin at 7:30. Stay tuned to CPTV for all things Connecticut. The preceding has been a production of Connecticut Public Television. So for Megan Kumo and our entire crew, I'm Bob Picozzi. Once again, congratulations to Gino Auriemma on win number 700. And our final score, UConn 91, Hofstra 46. So long from Gamble Pavilion.